Hey guys, what's up? It's Ray here. Welcome back to Thine channel. So I just want to say that it's actually really hard to find a bad rated museum. Like literally whenever you type in museum on TripAdvisor, you'll literally just get thousands and thousands and thousands of results for 5 stars, 6 stars, 5.5 stars. Even like the super tiny little alien museum back at my hometown, even that has almost 4 out of 5 stars. So when I stumbled across this museum that had a solid 2.5 star rating
out of 58 reviews, mind you,
I knew something fishy was going on. In fact, let me just read you guys some of the reviews that I found from this museum.
Historically disappointing. Disinterested. Wish I had the 15 minutes and $3 back. Waste of time. It's a cluttered junk store. Is there a way for a negative rating? If so, this deserves it.
And finally, this museum is an embarrassment to the state of New Mexico. Yikes. And don't get me wrong, there's like some positive reviews kind of sprinkled in. I'll throw them up really quick. So with that being said, my good friend Tevin and I, we jumped in the car, drove 6 hours away, spent the night in a town we have never been to go check out the museum ourselves. Even though it's in a small town, this town is very touristy, so I'm sure a lot of you have seen it if you're from New Mexico. Don't send any ill will towards the owner. In fact, I would like you guys to go and support it, check it out. And even if you guys live nowhere near this museum, I encourage you guys to go check out some old museums in your town, you know? Show them some support, you know? Because you never know, it might make someone's day, you know? So I'm gonna have to narrate this because it was deathly quiet in that museum. Like for example, here's just a video of me walking and how creaky the floor was and how quiet it was. And Tevin and I didn't even get a chance to really talk to each other because it was just so ungodly quiet in that whole museum. In fact, here's us trying to like whisper to each other, like you can't even hear the audio. Alright, so we made it to the museum and it was like in this really beautiful touristy area, which a lot of like really rich old people go to this town just to like blow money. The amount of money that this town must bring in is insane. Alright, so you first walk in and it's like this whole entire section dedicated to art. Like you'll see art prints, we saw local artwork, Native American work, local paintings. It was actually off to a really good start. So Tevin and I went ahead and like looked through what they had and we even bought some art prints to support them. Video. Okay. Now before you get into the museum, it's an older gentleman who was sitting there. There was no cash register, there was no credit card thing that we could see anywhere, which is already a weird sign. So I gave the guy the money to get in and he literally got out his wallet, opened it up, put the money in, and pulled out the change and gave it to us. Then he closed his wallet and put it back in his back pocket. It was very strange. So the first room that you walk into, the first thing that caught my eye is like, whoa, there is a lot of stuff around here and the walls are like a Pepto-Bismol color. Another thing I noticed is that like smack dab right in the middle, taking up most of the middle of the room, is like this area where I'm assuming they prepped for the art prints. Like you'll see a lot, like I saw a lot of UPS boxes, a lot of like papers. Tevin pulled one up and it was artwork. So instead of having it like in the back, they had it like smack dab right there. Like right off the bat, I could not tell what the theme was. Some of the stuff that was hung up, it literally looks like somebody just printed it and then hung it up. Like it wasn't framed, and if it was framed, there was some like weird mismatched frames everywhere. There was like a random poster just like hung up. And that first room, I remember there was just like dust everywhere. In fact, there was like this mask thing that had dust so thick on it, it was literally about 2 to 3 inches of just dust. And by the way, this museum is about a historical figure from New Mexico. Even the lighting was really weird. There was just like one light bulb. Like it didn't have any kind of cover, and right next to that was a giant gaping hole straight from the ceiling. And that was another thing, the walls had so much water damage that it even affected some of the artifacts. You know, a lot of those artifacts just did not have the proper care. And then the last thing I noticed that just kind of like grossed me out, to be honest, was like this buffalo taxidermy that they had that was like super dusty. It had like spider webs on it. And you could even see like the newspaper where the taxidermy was, yeah. And so yeah, that was just room 1. You know, we have 4 in total. And then we went to the next room, which in my opinion, this room stunk so bad of formaldehyde. Wait, what? What?
That piano has a real strong smell. It's kind of gross.
The first thing you see is like this big shelf full of just like dusty stuff all over it. The dust was so thick in that shelf. Some of the things, it was kind of hard to see what they were, to be honest with you. Just covered in dust. And just sitting on top of the shelf was just like a bunch of random like bones. It was very strange. It kind of reminded me of that painting. What is that painting? I can't remember. You know the painting. It reminded me just of that. I was like, what is going on? And I think whoever runs that museum just knows that it smells really bad in there. Like they know it smells like formaldehyde. So there's like this door that's just completely opened. And again, you can definitely see it had suffered so much water damage. Like, I don't know how to explain it, but like the doorway was literally rotting. Which again is another reason why I wanted to, you know, spend some money, buy some artwork there and support them, because I don't know what's going on. On the side of that room was nothing but trash. Completely unorganized, completely dusty. There was like a partition thing that was like kind of like blocking it out of view. You could clearly see it though. And my friend Tevin, you know, he's 6'5", he's over a foot taller than me. He got it on camera, and behind it is just literally boxes and boxes and boxes of just God knows what, you know? I don't know if they're art prints, I don't know what they are, but they're very disorganized. And then kind of draped next to it, I don't know why, but there was like a random bearskin rug that was just like hung from the ceiling. None of it was labeled. I don't know why it was there. It was just kind of boom, like right there in your face, you know? And then Tevin at one point pointed out that there's like this random like little jar sitting on the shelf completely open with like a bubbling liquid in it. And I have no idea what that was.
I wonder what that is.
Like, what is that? I have no, it looks like glue, but it's like bubbly, and it's like, I don't know. I don't know why it's there. I don't know what, nothing was, I don't know. And then to top it all off, there was like a big display that was like broken. And like the main attraction of that room was a taxidermy 8-legged lamb with 2 heads. Like, it was so gross to see that I'm not even gonna show you guys, because they did that poor little lamb so dirty. In fact, I'll just show you like the ear of the taxidermy, because they did that little lamb so dirty. Oh, and one thing I forgot to mention was that there were spider webs everywhere. So yeah, it was at that point that we were just ready to move on to the next room because that was too much.
He just pointed at the lizard and asked me what I'm doing in here. You meanie.
Good.
Which brings us to the next room. This truly was probably like the best room in the whole house. It had great lighting because of the skylight that was above. It had a lot of relevant stuff to like the 1800s. There was like artwork that was hung improperly in that room. But I mean, who am I to talk? I literally have artwork hung improperly. The only thing I could think of is that there was a buffalo hide, that there was so much dust on it that the little hairs were literally weighed down from all the dust. And that, I would say, like, why not just throw it away? You know what I'm saying? It was just like chilling there, minding its own business. It was old, you know, just throw that away, you know? And then finally we walked into the last room, which was dedicated to the historical figure. It hardly had any objects related to the historical figure, and even that room was like really dusty. It had spider webs everywhere. And I feel like if you're gonna name the museum after this historical figure, you know, try to take care of their stuff as much as possible, you know what I'm saying? And then from there you loop back into the entrance. So it was like a quick little Oh, okay, and then to spill some tea, guys, because this like truly pissed me off, is that Tevin and I decided to loop back one more time to get some extra footage. And when we went around the second time, this like lady walks in. She looked like she had a hard night of partying. You know, she'd bring her boyfriend with her. And then she goes up to that old man who didn't say a word and was like,
Hey, sorry for no call, no show. I'll get your shift tomorrow. Do you work tomorrow? I'll get you then.
but I'm here with my boyfriend and we gotta go. Bye.
I'm sorry I'm late, and I can come first thing tomorrow.
Can I take a picture?
But the amount of disrespect that she gave to that little old man who was working made me and Tevin so mad. And guess what? The next day, Tevin and I went back to get some extra footage, and guess who was working again? The old man. That lady no-called, no-showed twice to that poor old man.
That was something else, huh?
I liked it.
You liked it?
Yeah. It reminded me of my grandma's house.
Okay. Don't know what that's supposed to mean.
Bunch of old stuff sitting around. Bunch of old junk. Oh, look, art.
Like, for me personally, I think the museum just needs like a facelift. Workers who actually want to be there, they need to get rid of a lot of junk, they need some organization. Honestly, a can of Lysol, a broom, and a trash can would do that place wonders. But I do think it has a lot of potential, but right now it's just the worst rated museum and the worst one I personally have ever been to, you know? So this brings me back to my main question. Out of 5 stars, what would you rate this museum? Honestly, let me know in the comments why you rated it. Just let me know. Anyway guys, I know this video is different. Thank you guys so much again for watching. I will leave a playlist right here, other video right here, subscribe right here. And with that being said guys, I will see you next video.